Hello Leo, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self to ultimately create the life that you desire and deserve? As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages, as well as the overall theme for the reading, which we'll jump into in just a second, but I still have the tarot deck I'll be pulling from, the clarification deck, and the advice deck that I'll be using to close out the reading in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. All right, Leo, let's jump on in. In your recent past, you have seek healing with the Empress in reverse. I feel like you've been in this phase of healing, and healing from a situation where, this is going to sound very general, but where you weren't treated very well. A situation where you weren't valued, where you weren't maybe even appropriately compensated. I'm not quite sure what the specific situation is, because again, this is a general reading and we will get more in depth as we do read tarot, but I feel like you know what the situation is, and I feel like it took you a while, or you've been healing from this for a while, and I feel like it's been a pretty painful, challenging experience to heal from this situation. Now in your current energy, you have avoid drama with the Three of Swords in reverse. So this Three of Swords in reverse represents healing. So I'm seeing this as like the healing that you've kind of been going through. Then you have the avoid drama. This feels like a message from Spirit that's basically saying, don't go back, or try not to go back to the people, places, or situations that you have worked really hard to get out of and heal from. Now, sometimes we don't realize that we're doing that. And other times we might not even know that that's what's, we might think oh, this person will be better now. They promise they'll treat me better, or, they've changed, or whatever the case is. And sure, everyone deserves a second chance, but we just want to make sure that we're not going back into old cycles because we're fearing that nothing better is going to come along. I think that sometimes we make this decision, say maybe to leave a relationship, but then as time passes and as healing passes, it's like you start to forget the reasons why you left the relationship, and maybe you start to see things through rose-colored glasses. I'm not quite sure, and this doesn't have to have anything to do with relationships. It could be a job, it could be literally anything. But it's almost like this warning of don't go back to spaces that you have spent a lot of time healing from. And I feel like we're going to get more specific on what that is. But in your immediate future, you have the law of attraction with the World card. So this is obviously talking about some sort of cycle, a cycle that I feel like you've worked really hard to remove yourself from, but one that's very tempting to go back to. Now, with the law of attraction here, this is about understanding that when we are trying to attract something into our life, love, abundance, success, whatever it is, think of it as everything has a vibration. The book The Secret by Rhonda Byrne talks a lot about this, but whatever it is that you're trying to attract, the love you desire, the abundance you desire, think of it as its own frequency, like a radio. And in order for you to attract whatever it is, you have to align with that frequency. You have to become the frequency of whatever it is you're trying to attract, align with that frequency, which allows it into your life. Now, what I'm getting at with this is sometimes on the path to getting to that frequency of whatever it is that we're trying to attract, we're going to be met with resistance. We're going to be met with things that are trying to pull us backwards, things that are trying to keep us from getting to that certain frequency, things that try to lower our vibration, things of that nature, things like old cycles. And a lot of times we think oh, I left that situation, I'm done with it, that cycle's closed. But what we might not realize is that a cycle doesn't actually fully close until you are presented with the opportunity to repeat it, and you don't. Meaning like, say you leave a relationship with an emotionally unavailable person, or you're done with someone who is emotionally unavailable, you're like, I can't do that anymore. And maybe then someone else appears into your life and this person is also emotionally unavailable. It's being able to recognize, I've been down this road before, I'm not going back to this. I'm going to close out the cycle. I'm going to wait for what it is that I truly deserve. And I'm just using relationships as an example because I feel like that's something a lot of people can relate to, but this does not have to be a love reading. The overall theme of the reading is ideal course of action. So it's almost as if there is a path that is available to you on the other side of this cycle, but it's almost as if that path won't be able to appear until this cycle is fully closed. So I don't know. It's kind of complicated just for the overall energy. So definitely feel like we're going to be relying on tarot here for a lot of clarity. So let's start, Leo, with this past energy of seek healing with the Empress in reverse. I just feel like, don't go back to this, to the people, the situations, the spaces, the cycles that you have spent a really long time healing from. What does Leo need to know about this past energy? Five of Swords, Four of Cups, and then there you are, Leo, Queen of Wands. This is very much, it's like survival mode kind of energy. Feeling like it's you against the world, constantly having to kind of fight your way through an experience. This is very challenging energy. Like, that's the best word that comes to mind. It's almost as if this is this energy of like, I don't believe that anything better is ever going to come along, so I'm going to stay where I'm at because I think this is as good as it gets, without realizing that Spirit has actually so much more in store for you than you even think. But I feel like this is an experience that, like I said, you've been healing from. So I don't know if you left or if it left you or what. But I feel like there is it's like you don't realize what Spirit has in store for you. Like, the word that comes to mind is settling, but that can be, that word I feel like can be really triggering because sometimes we don't even realize that we're doing it. Settling for less than what we deserve, because this is an energy, a space where you weren't being valued. You weren't being seen, heard, reciprocated, chosen. And I feel like there was a part of you that felt like you could never have anything better, or like you didn't see how there was a path to better or something here. But I don't know. It might be, we always have our reasons, so I'm not blaming you for anything by any means. All right, what else does Leo need to know? Leo need to know about this past experience. It's like almost like because the Five of Swords can also represent like defensive energy. It's almost like being in an environment where you're always having to defend your worth or prove your worth or prove that you were deserving of more or something like that. What else does Leo need to know about this energy? Seven of Swords. Four of Swords in reverse. And there's the Strength and the Nine of Swords. This is a very draining energy. A very, like you're an energy where you're constantly giving, you're constantly showing up, but I don't feel like that was being repaid in some way. And with the Seven of Swords, this is kind of like it almost feels like there, whatever situation this was, it was like you were in it because like almost out of obligation in a sense. Now, like what I mean by that is I have to, or this is necessary, or, but it's almost as if, what reading did I see this? It's almost as if Spirit is trying to tell you through this that there's another route, another way, that you don't have to be in this energy. Because with the Nine of Swords here, because it's interesting because the Nine of Swords is kind of covering this strength, right? This strength card is obviously very much a very Leo energy. And I feel like it's almost as if this added so much stress and anxiety. This was a space that dulled your light. It's almost like it created more stress and chaos, and it dulled your light. An environment of some sort. Where you weren't appreciated or valued. Okay, what else does Leo need to know about this past energy? More. I want the cards to turn all the way around or hit the table. Okay. Eight of Swords, you felt trapped. Trapped in something. I want more on this Eight of Swords though. But why? Because of the unknown. Yeah, okay. There's the Seven of Swords again. It's almost like this is this energy that I gather from like you didn't realize, or you don't realize how much Spirit has in store for you. Almost like, I'm not gonna lie, Leo, it kind of feels like you're selling yourself short a little bit. Selling your gifts and your talents and your value short a little bit. Almost like trying to, and I said this, like dull your light, it's almost like trying to shrink to fit in to something, to a role, to a relationship. You know, in that strength card, where was it? Is it still around here? Yeah. This lion really stood out to me. And then I looked over at this world card, and you have this lion here in the bottom right corner of this card. And I feel like this is like remembering your power, remembering that you're the lion, like remembering that you are more than what other people tell you are. I don't know. It's almost like you forgot for a second. But now maybe Spirit's asking you to remember, how powerful you are, how incredibly capable you are. Because, a lot of times the feeling of being trapped in experiences that aren't really in alignment with our fulfillment is ultimately the experience of us not believing that we are capable, lovable, deserving of more. And not that that's necessarily your fault. We tend to gain our beliefs about how capable, lovable, and deserving we are through what we've been through. But sometimes it's almost like it's like you have to remember, I'm better than this, or like I don't have to settle for this, or this isn't where I belong. I know that I'm meant for more. But that's really hard, Now, I still feel like this is an experience that is in the past. So I'm interested, yes, we're looking at your past energy, but like this is experience you've been healing from in your past, so maybe even further back in your past. So I'm interested with this avoid drama and the Three of Swords in reverse, like it's almost like you're being cautioned here, Leo. You're being cautioned in a way not to go back to something. Current energy for Leo. Now, when I say that, this isn't a fear-mongering type of reading. This isn't if you go back, you lose every opportunity to be happy or whatever. That's not what this is about, okay? My readings will never be like that. Our opportunity to be happy, loved, abundant always exists ahead of us. If we're not experiencing it, there's always an opportunity. And if we repeat a cycle, that means that we were needing to repeat that cycle, to learn something else, to finally, so whatever it is that you do, like, that's why I feel like it's like ideal course of action is, sure, there's maybe a path that would be better for you to take, but it doesn't mean that path, that taking a different path or making a different decision is necessarily wrong for you. It could be very, very good for your, life path in general. Because we're all on different paths. Even all Leos are on different paths. But okay, current energy for Leo. Avoid drama with the 3 of Swords in reverse. I don't feel like that was supposed to come out. You can tell a difference. It's like it falls out or it like comes out. Okay, current energy for Leo is a 2 of Wands in reverse. So if it was supposed to come out, it will again. See, that one, those were supposed to come out. There's the 10 of Swords. My goodness, Leo. There's the Sun. King of Cups in reverse, 10 of Swords. You've overcome a lot since this experience. You've overcome a lot. And I feel like with the Sun here, I feel like you've really been finding your way. It's like finding who you are, trying to make decisions that align with what's best for you. And I feel like this is about continuing to trust your path forward. Because for some of you, there's this temptation to want to go backwards. Back to something, to a relationship or a career path or old habits, maybe even. But I feel like through this reading, Spirit is really cautioning you from doing that. And it's almost like there's so much more good ahead of you on this path. Now, you might still be healing too from something. I want more. Current energy for Leo. Because remember, healing is a lifelong journey. For me, I've kind of learned that, sometimes I'm healing from one thing, sometimes I'm healing from another, sometimes I feel like I'm healing from all of it. I learn something new about it, I heal a little deeper. Like, I feel like that's really just kind of the whole thing. But I also just feel like this is about knowing that you are, like, and I know I already kind of said this, but the Spirit has more in store for you than what you've experienced. So you don't need to go back in order to get love, abundance, or success. In fact, I feel like that would actually block you from the love, abundance, and success that you're truly desiring. Okay, current energy for Leo. Temperance, but it's going to take patience. And then there's the 4 of Wands. It's almost like it's being constructed for you. And the 5D. Because I don't know if there's like an impatience or like I haven't seen, things haven't gotten better, or I don't know. I will say something that I've experienced both in my own growth journey, spiritual journey, and in helping others through their journey, is that there always seems to be this period on a growth or a spiritual journey where you kind of have this pull to go backwards, back to old habits, back to your old self, back to like your old life. So that you realize that that's actually not really meant for you. Like, you're finally like, okay, yeah, I remember why I decided to grow or why I decided to heal. And I think that it's really tempting to want to do that when you don't see the benefit of your growth and your healing happening immediately. It can be really hard, and you can start to lose hope. So you're like, well, I'd rather go back to this relationship that I had, even though it was bare minimum love. At least I wasn't alone. Or I'd rather go back to, I don't know, this path, this career, that I hated, but at least I was financially stable. And it's like, but what if you had the faith that there was more in store for you and you waited out this period of it feeling like nothing is coming of it? Because I feel like you're going to start to see that that's the case. Because like I said, I was talking about the law of attraction, right? Whatever you want to attract is on a certain vibration. You've got to raise your vibration, which means you're going to have to, get yourself through all of the things that are going to try to pull you back down, to pull you backwards. So I don't know. It's like having patience. I feel like there's certain things being constructed, like I said, in the background, like in the 5D almost, that maybe you're unaware of. Because like I started out the reading saying, like, I don't feel like you have any idea what Spirit really has in store for you. All right, so what else does Leo need to know about their current energy? What did I read once? It was like, sorry, this came in while I was shuffling. In order to attract what it is that we desire, it often means facing the opposite. So like, in order to attract the love that you deserve, it typically means getting comfortable with being alone. In order to attract, financial abundance, it often means kind of facing the feeling of being broke while you're like saving or paying off debt or whatever the case is. A lot of times when we're trying to attract something, it requires the experience of the opposite, so that we can get to the place that we're trying to get to. So right now, if it feels like you're further away from your goal or you're not making steps, I feel like you are. You just don't really understand how yet, or the impact of it. Because this is like that period when it's really tempting to just be like, well, I'd rather just go backwards. I'd rather go back to old habits. Like, this was easier. This was more predictable. But easy and predictable isn't going to take you to the fulfillment, the happiness, the abundance, the success, the love that you are looking for. All right, current energy for Leo. Star. Seeing the sun, the temperance, and the star back to back to back here. This Ten of Swords keeps coming up. I mean, I feel like this is what's so interesting is like, this is what I feel like you're coming out of, right? This is what you've spent your time kind of healing from. The star also, to me, represents just healing and kind of a deep dive into your pain and things of that nature. And I feel like okay. It's almost like, remember why that didn't work. Like, remember why a past experience didn't work. Like, you've come so far, Leo, and you've healed so much and you've grown so much. Like, I can just tell. I can tell through this energy that the last thing that you want, first of all, you can't heal in the spaces that have hurt you, right? And the last thing that you want is to go through all this again. Allow, it's almost like, and I know that sounds crazy because you're supposed to move past your pain, but at the same time, it's like, forgive but not forget. Like, look back on it and be like, okay, yeah, maybe I understand why that had to happen, and I grew and I evolved and I healed in ways that I wouldn't have if that wouldn't have happened, but I'm also never going to go back there again. I'm also never going to allow myself back into an experience like that because I know what that's like, and now I know better. And it's almost like, but there might be this fear of, but what if that's as good as it gets? Or what if nothing better ever comes along? It's like, don't be afraid to have high standards for yourself and the people around you. Don't be afraid to get picky. Don't be afraid to get unapologetic about what it is that you desire and how you deserve to be treated. Okay, let's see. What does Leo need to know moving forward? Like, no more, we're not playing it small anymore. We're remembering our power. We're remembering our strength. What does Leo need to know moving forward? Law of attraction with the world. It's like on the other side of the world, the other side of this cycle is where it happens. So that's why you don't want to go backwards. Eight of Wands, you have this Eight of Cups in reverse. It's like this, and there's the Fool, the Four of Pentacles, and the Ace of Swords. It's like right when you give up hope is when it happens. I see there's this chart that I often see kind of floating around the internet, and I really like it. And it's like this the high and low, high and low, high and low, but it's an overarching positive trend. And it's like, you have these highs and then you have the low, and it's like where a lot of people give up. And then you have a high, and like an even higher high, and then another low, and it's like where more people give up. And then you have another high, and then like a really low low, and it's like that's where most people give up. And it's usually like right before it happens. And when I talk about giving up, it's typically going back to something, right? Going back to old habits, old dynamics, old relationships, old whatever. But the old doesn't work. It's never worked. That's why you're here, right? That's why you've had to heal, is because that didn't work. So allowing yourself to continue to move forward and believe, because then it's like, bam, then it happens. The Fool, the Four of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, it's like, and this is just the start, too. This is just the start. So it might feel hopeless, but it's certainly not. It's absolutely not, actually. Okay, what else does Leo need to know moving forward? The Nine of Pentacles. Then there's the Hangman. I mean, this is wish fulfillment, right? And then this Hangman is kind of like this energy of letting go, letting go of how you think it needs to happen, when you think it needs to happen, what you think it needs to look like. Because if you're in a rush to get to where you want to be, you're going to try to force it. And you might force it by actually going back to old cycles, by trying to chase emotionally unavailable people, or work for somebody who doesn't value you or compensate you appropriately, whatever the case might be. It's almost like the universe is saying, hold out for better, because better is on its way. Better is on its way, but it's on the other side of the temptation to go back to old cycles. So it's almost like, remember what you're made of. You don't want to play it small. It's good. It might not feel like, I don't know, good right now, or it might feel kind of challenging. I mean, it is Leo season, so you might be feeling pretty good right now. But just something to keep in mind, throughout this process, because this, I feel like, is a really major cycle in your life. What does Leo need to know moving forward? The number one thing that we have to do is get a clear vision on what it is that we desire. I desire to be loved the way that I deserve. I desire to, be successful in the ways where I feel like I am living out my purpose, like whatever the case is. Get in tune with whatever it is that you desire, and then be willing to say no to anything that is not that. And that's the hardest part, right? Is you certain things will come along. It's almost like the universe is like, are you going to accept this? And you're like, this isn't really what I'm looking for. And you're just like, okay. He brings you something else, and it's like, this is good enough, but it's not really what it is that, I desire, what I deserve. And the universe is like, okay, are you going to accept it? And you go, no, I don't think so. And then eventually it's like the right thing does come along. Because we do accept what it is that we believe that we deserve. So it's kind of, think of it this way. It's like, you believe you deserve this, right? But on the path to tuning into that vibration, you're going to face everything on the way. So it's like, are you going to accept this? No? Okay. Are you going to accept this? No. It's like, eventually it's like, you got to say no enough times before the right thing does come along. I think that people are scared to be picky. No, I'm saying being picky within reason, right? I'm not saying you have this perfect list of everything that you want a partner to have, and that if not everything on that list is checked, like that person's not for you. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, getting, again, in tune with what it is you want to feel, what it is you want to experience, and understanding that whatever it is that is on that list, like, I want to experience loving someone unconditionally just as they love me, whatever the case is, like, you are deserving of having those experiences, but you might have to hold out for them, which means facing the fear that they're never going to happen, or the opposite, right? Facing the opposite of whatever that is. All right, what does Leo need to know moving forward? The Ten of Cups. But it's outside your comfort zone. I mean, this is like emotional fulfillment. It's like, the Ten of Cups, I feel like is a step up from the Nine of Pentacles, because it's almost like, not only is it, because the Nine of Pentacles is like a desire that we have, right? I desire a relationship with this person, or I desire $1 million, or whatever the case is. Like, what we're actually looking for is the love that I feel is the best for me, or financial freedom, right? So the reason I like the Ten of Cups is because it's the experience outside of what we think it needs to look like. And I feel like that's what this is talking about, is you can still have what it is you want. You can have the wish fulfillment you desire, but the experience of it might be different than you have in mind, but that doesn't mean it's going to be any less good. But it's almost like this is worth waiting for. This is worth waiting for. This is, literally, Three of Wands. This is like this energy of waiting. It's like it's worth waiting for. And I feel like, I often get people, I've been waiting X amount of years, and I think that we have to remember that there's a difference between waiting on things happening for us and showing up for us, creating things happen, waiting on the pieces falling into place. There are two very different things. Remember, manifestation, law of attraction, it's a co-creation partnership. The universe is there to support you, but you have to show up too. So if you're showing up for yourself and you're making the best decisions that you can to heal, to grow, to evolve, to show up, in your purpose, in your service of others, in yourself, like, if you're doing the things that, you feel are necessary of you, then keep showing up like that. And then it's almost like it's going to happen for you. But there are going to be times where you're going to want to be pulled backwards, because backwards is predictable, but predictable doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing. I hope this makes sense. I feel like I was trying to, sometimes the messages come out a little bit more complex, so I was trying to summarize, else this would be like an hour-long reading. But anyway, okay. I hope that this resonated and helped you in a way you were needing, Leo. I'm going to hop on over to the extended, where we're going to focus on what you can do right now to ensure you're moving forward in alignment with your higher self, so kind of more tangible advice. Any information for that is in the description box below. Thank you so much, Leo, as always, for your support of my channel. I do hope that this reading helped and, like I said, resonated with you, and I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Leo.